It is sad day for Nigerian football. It is sad for this generation of Super Eagles players, as the Super Eagles have failed to qualify for the World Cup. It ends full time in Rabat. It is Nigeria 1, DR Congo 1, and the Congolese have won 4-3 on penalties. Mira and the Bishop joins me after a grueling 3 hours of watching one of the worst games ever in Nigerian football history. The Super Eagles of Nigeria, unconvincing, uninspiring, terrible penalty shootout. We got second chance, third chance, fourth chance, but the boys somehow did not come to the party. The Bishop, we saw the game together. What went wrong?
Everything from the start to the end. I don't think the players came into the game or attacked the game with the tenacity we saw in the previous game against Gabon. We already knew from the onset that it was going to be a physical game. If you watch the game between DR Congo and Cameroon, the physicality of the game was going to stand strong. We all knew that. So when the way they started the game, as they got the early goal, and it looks like they had won the game in their head. As they scored that goal, they went absolutely flat. Absolutely flat. Like the first was going to be a tea party. And I kept warning. Remember I wanted to preview. I said like about 3 or 4 times, it's not going to be a tea party. If we play our football, we're going to beat them and beat them silly. We had a chance to win the game in the first half. The Chukwu is a chance. I don't know how he scuffed his line. I can't imagine how a striker of that level, a ball on your feet, rolled at your feet. All they do was smack the ball on target at worst. And he scuffed his line. It happened again. Was another striker, he scuffed his line. And then, you know what with football is, if you don't kill off games, you give the teams, your opposition team, a time to believe. They believed. They came at us. And again, even the goal they scored was a gift. Simple. What the rules tells you, you throw the ball. And the other was throw the ball, kick it backwards. But he set that ball up for earlier. And then he smacked the ball into the back of the net. So for me, complacency setting, overconfidence setting. The players, I don't know whether they were tired, jaded, or whatever it is, but they look a shot of the team that beat Gabon 4-1 in previous round. So really sad one.
Sad for this generation of players. Did our over-reliance on Victor Osimhen cost us?
Well, like you said, it's unfortunate that this crop of players have tried more than once, and most of them have tried more than once. And, I easily would say these are world-class players. And one time I got into explaining how they are world-class players. And I look back, giving my citing instances and tell myself, oh man, if they don't get to go to the World Cup, they are not world-class players. It doesn't matter how many times they play at the Champions League. It doesn't matter how many African Cup of Nations they win, right? But if you don't get a chance to play at the World Cup, you can be Champions League class player, you can be African best class player, right? But if you don't get to show on the world scene, you are not what. Yeah, individually they are good, individually they are better players, but no. Now talking about Victor Osimhen, and no doubt he's a good player, no doubt he's a player of high pedigree and everything, but we also keep saying that a team should not be built around one person. One person, anything could happen for the player to be taken off. It could be injury, it could be misconduct, it could be anything. But if an entire team of 11 players is built on just one person and the person is not available in a 90 minutes game or in a case where there's an extra time, we saw it play out. And that is not even the only thing that happened in the game, because even Victor Osimhen did not come to the game. He didn't come to the game.
He didn't come to the party.
He didn't. I mean, maybe they
was poor in the first half.
But the one thing about Victor Osimhen, he could lit up a game on his own.
At any point.
Yes. We saw that the extra time last game.
At any point.
He got the second chance.
Yes, he lit up.
But he did not lit up.
He lit up last time, and this time
in
he
the
didn't.
extra time.
Yes. But this time he didn't get the second chance. And I quite agree. His numbers is astronomical. This guy has got 31 goals. I think the only player who has scored more goals than him for the Super Eagles is actually Kini.
Yeah.
And he's done 31 goals in fewer games. 45. And we know he's going to do that. He's going to break that record. It's a matter of time.
If he gets more,
it's a matter of when, not how.
If he gets more play
exactly.
Time.
So for me, I quite agree with reliance on him is visible to the player, to the deaf.
Yes.
When he left the pitch, there was no biting attack. You could feel that. You could feel that there was something taken off the shoulders of the Congolese. Like we unleashed them. Like, was it not this bad Congolese team we saw in the first time? But they felt so comfortable. There was nobody pressing them. There was nobody biting attack. There was no fear factor anymore. They came out to express themselves. They were the far better team in the second half and in extra time. So yes, over reliance on him is a problem. I know we're still struggling with the fitness of Ademola Lookman. He hasn't hit his stride, but I tell you, in another day, if Tony has smacked that ball in the back of the net, we have been talking about a different story right now. Because a player who's not at his best of his best created 2 clear-cut chances and were practically wasted. So for me, I agree. These numbers tell the whole story now. How many goals have we scored? For every game Osimhen played for us and qualifiers, he scored. The one that did not score today, we lost on penalties. So I think we have relied on him for too much. And that's why we're having a go at the likes of Boniface. We're having a go at the likes of others, Tolu or Oko Dare, or I call them. They're not helping him out. The numbers is a sham. It's either Osimhen is scoring or we are struggling. About a certain game we won 3-0 against the Republic in the Nations Cup qualifier. Not this one 1-4-0. Meli came into the came from the bench. Somebody said, a journalist, I won't call his name, said, we're going to win this game. And he's going to score twice. And he scored twice. Because there's this thing it brings you, that fear factor. But again, it tells the whole story. Rome is not built in a day. Maybe it's time for the church to find a solution to that, because that's been our crazy for a very long time under Finidi George, before then under Osimhen Guavon. When these guys don't step up, we struggle. But come on, man. I think we need to find a plan B. And that's why I was one of those who now I'm going to go off the box. I'm talking about Paulo Nacho. For the love of God, if we had kept on lobbing the ball for Nacho, at least one, we saw against the Republic in the African qualifiers. But you love him for Oko Dare, he's a passenger. Akon Daniels is struggling.
When we beat Benin 3-0, it was Victor Osimhen.
No, I'm talking about in Benin Republic's home. They was not beaten by 1-0. Late goal scored by Paulo Nacho. In their own home
Just
turf.
one game. Don't you
No,
see?
I'm giving an example.
I understand where you're going to
yes,
go.
yes.
Putting Paul Onuachu in this conversation is dead.
No,
This is why it is dead. Because even his presence will not change a thing. But guys, let's go to the penalty shootout where we lost it. In penalty shootout, we missed 3 penalty shootouts.
Shocking.
Calvin Bassey, Moses Simon, and of course, Semi Ajayi. Now, this is where I call out the coach of the Super Eagles. Eric Chelle, the penalty is on you.
Yes, I agree with you.
Strictly on you. Nigeria's, in fact, the only player that's played penalty for Nigeria in the last 3 years.
Is
3 years has
Ekong.
been William Troost Ekong. You're now going to a penalty shootout and you don't bring in the captain of the Super Eagles. Your only penalty taker in the last 3 years. You're leaving the entire game on the bench. Meanwhile, you had a team that was bringing in players
and
goalkeepers.
Yes.
Then you ask the question, did we practice for penalties? 1. Did we expect to take penalties? 2. Were we ready for this competition in the first place? Because that's the truth. Were we really ready for this competition?
I think the way he picked players, who wants to play? I think that was the best way he picked his players.
I understand when coaches say if you want to play, step up.
But
2 defenders take penalty and 2 defenders
beast.
Okay, now, from the start of this game today, right? You could tell that the game went out of plan, out of visible plan to us watching from here. Because right from when they were marching in, you could tell, okay, are these guys ready to play? And then the very first 3 minutes, they got that goal. And subsequently, what happened? In the substitution, what happened? You could tell that at some point, even Eric Chelle lost a grip of what is going on. I'm sure that there was no time that if he prepared for a penalty, it was a plan D. Plan A would be win the game outrightly. Plan B would be, okay, maybe win the game outrightly, decide it from the first half. Plan B would be, okay, get on to the second half. Plan C would be, whatever you do that extra time magic. But now, at some point, it took a different turn. There was no Victor Osimhen again. Remember, I was telling you, I feel there's going to be they're going to bring Tolu alongside Osimhen, right? Ako alongside Osimhen, right? And then what we now saw is Ako for Osimhen.
Yes.
Ako for Osimhen. So that is a point to tell you that, okay, he is losing the grip of this game, right? And then every other thing worked as follows. Even at some point, when also assistant coach Victor Osimhen come up again. You get? So it left us with a lot of questions. What happened? Why were you sent off in the first place?
Why is Ekong not coming?
Now,
Awazim was the last sub.
So I was saying that he lost touch of the game. By the time he did that, Awazim last sub. I remember in the second half of the main time, we were saying, okay, now if this game eventually gets into penalty, bring in Ekong at the second half of the extra time. And now he was still looking for the win in the second half of the extra time. That was why he brought in Awazim. But now he was done with his sub. This is me trying to say we did not make penalty shootout was the plan D.
So
it was the plan D because
on
even the
NHL.
crop of players that played
NHL.
the penalty. Tell me how Simeon will miss that penalty for crying out loud.
Now, see, it's
With how many years of experience?
It's visible to the blind already that there was no business for Econo coming to the pitch of play. We kept on saying it on the live broadcast. Your best player has to play in the first 5 penalties. It's a simple thing.
So,
in that
how
player
is James coming onto the field of play, not take a penalty?
there is a
What
problem. What did you do? What did you nothing? Simple. What you've done is bring your Kong, play him. After all, if you're going slow, there are 2 players with him, with Calvin Bassey and Samuel Ajayi. So they come out for his pace. Why he uses experience and his area ability. Simple. Lock it up. Ekong had to play. The best player for Congo played. Moyele. He played and he scored and he whatever penalty he took. So for me, I was on a Chelle. Wabale did his job on the penalty.
Yeah, give it up on Wabale. Give it up on
Same 2
Wabale.
penalties, did his job. I'm wondering how Nigeria could not score at least, 3 penalties from their.
It means we don't have any business.
We did not practice. It should have been not practice. If we practice, the coach is not in a Kong. That is 1, 2.
That's why I say he didn't practice so much for penalties.
If he had practiced, he would have not played defenders to take because he would have known who to pick.
Yes.
Because when they were playing, where we knew where certain people pick on the ball.
Semi Ajayi.
I said, has he never kicked the penalty?
Semi Ajayi.
I don't want to say if you have the mind, go play. But sometimes people have gone scientific. A player will play 9 penalties and score 8. He's a likely player. He has to go play. The time Kano did not want to play, by the time the coach pushed him to go play and he scored. He was scared, but the guy plays in training and he scores in training. Why would he be scared to play? He refused to play. When he got to Sunday, then the coach pushed him to go and play and he played and he scored. That is what you need to do. Training will tell you who are the better legs. If they are trained and they play them, it's different. But this showed that he had no plan. He didn't plan for penalty shootout, and the game went away from his hand from the first half. And again, this comes to a major question. Back to Osimhen. He needs to explain to Nigeria why he was taken off offside. Was he injured? If he was not injured, what transpired in the dressing room that made him not to return? 2, if it was tactical, I got no issue. Why was he not seen in the pitch of play until around the 60-something, 70-something minutes? He needs to call to Nigeria and explain to Nigeria what went wrong, because a fit Osimhen for the Super Eagles means a winning Nigerian team. The stats prove it and proved it right. You know, I have a go at him at times because I feel he can be better than what he is. But the stat proves that a fit Osimhen means a winning Nigerian team. So if he's not playing, he has to explain, because the guy was not wobbling. He was not limping. He was looking well. Looking cool, man. He took an early shower. Looking like a fresh boy. So for me, he needs to explain to Nigeria what went wrong in the dressing room.
Well, Victor Osimhen will need to explain to Nigeria what went wrong in the dressing room, and that conversation will not stop. In fact, it will be the conversation that would headline Nigeria's exit from the FIFA World Cup. Was it tactical to stop Victor Osimhen? Was it the dressing room rancor? What went wrong? Why also did William Troost Ekong not come on to take the penalty for Nigeria? What went wrong? What went wrong with Coach Eric Chelle that he was so quiet on the bench? What went wrong? The questions will be what? But the most important thing is that after 120 minutes and penalty shootout, the Super Eagles of Nigeria will not be at the very first expanded FIFA World Cup, as we have failed to qualify, and it is Congo who go to the playoff round and represent Africa. So it ends. The dream of this of their generation ends.
Automatically, yeah.
My generation continue. Our generation continue. But their generation ends with a World Cup failure, as they've become players who have failed to qualify for the World Cup. I state categorically, without holding words back, and every Super Eagles player on the field of play is a failure today, and have failed Nigerians after failing to qualify for the World Cup. Again, I don't take the words back, as they failed these Nigerians, because at the end of the day, the Super Eagles that failed first before the NFF, and then every other person who have failed with them, but the players have let us down.
Osimhen is the African Footballer of the Year, right? Lukman is the Footballer of the Year, right? They may never play at a World Cup.
They will never, at this rate,
sadly,
except something happens.
Sadly.
Super Tempo, brought to you by Azar Studios.